So diplomacy in this period, happened through multiple channels. So you have traditional channels working with the State Department, but you also had obviously leaders engaged with each other as well. So President Eisenhower was in correspondence with Prime Minister Anthony Eden, making clear America's position that military force was inappropriate. You had Secretary of State John Foster Dulles also in contact with his counterparts. He took the lead in organizing a couple of international conferences that brought together the various kind of maritime powers who had the most, who used the canal the most. And there was attempts to try to make an international consortium to put the canal under international control. Anything that fell short of complete sovereignty for Egypt, for Nasser, we wasn't going to accept it. But there were attempts there to kind of come to a solution. Britain themselves, they were open to diplomacy. Early on, it's not like they went straight to any type of military action. But for them, if that failed, there was always going to be that military option in the background. And so you did have those international attempts, though. You do have the British foreign minister meeting with his Egyptian counterpart at the United Nations. They do come to a 6-point proposal about how to kind of move forward, or 6 principles. However, they were vague. How do you implement them? Those kind of questions arose. But there were attempts to use diplomacy to avoid crisis. But at the end of the day, anything that was going to fall short of full sovereignty for Egypt of the canal was probably not gonna work. Whereas you have this kind of public diplomacy that's occurring between between allies and even adversaries, Egypt and Britain. You also have secret negotiations going on between France, Israel, and Britain, and they got together to kind of create a plan to use military force to potentially topple Nasser. They kept this secret from, most importantly, the United States. They made sure the United States didn't know.
The United States was not consulted in any way about any phase of these actions, nor were we informed of them in advance.
And so that lack of communication actually ends up maybe making things worse, because once the United States does find out, it's going to make their anger even more so. And so the lack of communication, that secrecy, where it might have served the military purpose they were after, it ends up damaging relationships because you have that lack of communication that occurred between allies.